Good morning. Okay, this today may be the last lecture from me, and today I am going to draw your attention to some consonant sounds, some of those sounds that are produced generally with obstruction in the oral passage. Now, we do them all right, but there are some sounds occasionally where we do not get them as correctly as we ought to, and I have been drawing your attention to sounds that are written with say from day one. I have been drawing your attention to sounds like v, as in, give me a word, 5, this sound, okay, or this, as in, okay. Lovely. May God give you a loving one, or shall I say pretty one. Well, they are not contradictory, okay, right. How these sounds are produced, how if you do not already have them, how we can have them. There is a second point I want to make today, okay, before we close. It is good to have appropriate and correct pronunciation, but it's not enough. It is also important to have socially appropriate language. Even if you have very good pronunciation, can you use bad words in public? Say yes or no. Obviously not. It does not require a 3-credit course at IIT Madras to tell us that we can't do that. That is common sense. So we have been watching this video by Bernard Shaw, the film My Fair Lady. Actually, this was not a film. He wrote it as a play, Pygmalion, and he has, in a certain sense, made fun of the British society, British upper classes, that they are very particular on dress, very particular on courtesies, etiquette, and on pronunciation. It must be spoken only in this manner, only at this tempo, only with this amplitude. There are so many onlys that after some time it becomes ridiculous. Looks like you don't have freedom, you don't have choice. And actually, in all civilized societies, if you look at the history, then all civilized societies start controlling your behavior, and there comes a point of time when they control it so much that people start rebelling. Then begins the decline of civilization. Actually, if you ever get time and if you study subjects like anthropology, have you heard of that subject? How do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce it? Everybody please. Anthropology. Anthropology. Anthrop is man. This is man. And the science of man.
O is missing.
Sorry, did I miss something? Oh, I am so sorry. Anthropology. Okay, the science of the civilization of how it is studied. It's a very complex interdisciplinary subject. Someday, if you have time, you can look at some books in this area. Even in the British society, because they have been in power for 300-400 years, rising country, rich country, in their culture there is a lot of emphasis upon what they call how do you pronounce it? Etiquette.
Etiquette.
How do you pronounce it?
Etiquette.
Etiquette. What is etiquette? You must do certain thing only in a certain manner. When you greet somebody in English, don't greet him with left hand unless you are a lefty. Okay, people who write with left hand. Okay, or you must bend at a certain degree, or you eat in a certain, when you eat you should eat noiselessly in their community. Among us we can eat and talk, but not in the British community. When they have party, the invitation card also tells you what kind of dress, formal, casual, smart casual, they go to great details. Actually, if you eat, you must not, your spoon must not be, must not touch the plate in such a manner that it produces noise. It's a very, it's a matter of practice. You can acquire it, but sometimes one thinks it is ridiculous to have so many rules. When you eat, no food particles should stick to your lips, and if it does, use a napkin or use a tissue, that paper towel to wipe your lips. There is also a rule about how to wipe your lips. Don't wipe your lips like we do in India. Not in this manner. It should go from gently from right to left. Okay, or from left to right. Not like you are going to take your lips out and put them away. Similarly, when you drink soup, and soup is not drunk in English, soup is eaten in English. You see, it is liquid, but they eat it. They don't eat other liquids, but they eat soup, and soup should not be eaten with a spoon like we put the entire spoon into our mouths, not that way. Soup, like boat, should come sideways to your lips, okay, and then gently, without producing, don't produce that kind of noise. Okay, lots of rules, lots of things, so much so that sometimes one feels that the entire community is behaving like a robot. And what does literature do? Literature exaggerates any aspect of the culture to draw your attention, that look, this is what you are becoming. The substance is disappearing and form is becoming important. And Bernard Shaw, I told you about Bernard Shaw yesterday. Did anyone look up, did anyone Google Bernard Shaw yesterday? Don't raise your hand. Don't answer that. Did anyone? Okay, doesn't matter. As a teacher, my job is to continue to be hopeful. Some things will attract you today that I tell you. Some things that I tell you today you will do tomorrow, or you may do 5 years later, but you will do it. I am very confident. I remember sometimes my teachers talking to me, and they spoke to me 50 years ago. Okay, but even now sometimes I remember. Okay, so this is education. Education does not change your behavior entirely in one day. It's not like a laundry in the shopping, washing machine. You put the shirt in it and you take it out dry, cleaned, and all that. But sometime when you have time, look up people, some of these people, see what kind of people they were. Somebody like Bernard Shaw, born so poor, and he made so much money out of his plays, his lectures. People were admitted to his lectures if you paid for it. He was a very powerful speaker and very entertaining speaker, not like us, not boring, very entertaining. You felt like listening to him on and on. Very witty, very well read, okay, and hardworking. But he spent, in spite of the fact that he made so much money, he did not spend money on himself. Throughout his life, he wore only one jacket. Even when he was almost a billionaire before he died. He married at the age of 64 or 65. There are lots of quotes from him. Can I tell you one? Okay. So when he was very popular, his stage plays were booked 6 months in advance or 1 year in advance. Okay, entirely all shows booked for next 6 months. Okay. So one actor, one a female actor or actress as they were called proposed to him, Mr. Shaw, why don't you marry me? And it was partly joke, partly in humor that lady told him. And Bernard Shaw said, okay, but why should I marry you? He said, well, if you and I marry, then our child would be, yes, can be pretty like me and witty like you. Yeah, right. Tell me, complete the rest. Yeah.
How about it like witty like me and pretty like you?
Yes. And Bernard Shaw said, suppose he becomes pretty like me and witty like you. Okay, there are all kinds of things attributed to Bernard Shaw. Somebody asked him, where did you learn all this? I said, he said, I learned all my life except when I was in school. There are this kind of witty things. Don't take them very seriously because they are partly cynical, partly in humor. But here is someone, you see, when a great scientist works, the great scientist does not work in isolation. When a great literature works, he does not work in isolation. He has a great poet, he has a great story writer, a great painter, a society is great when everyone is great. It is not that you have lots of wonderful sciences and nothing else. It just does not happen. Imagine your body. Can you have the right hand of Cassius Clay and left hand of Shirish Chaudhary? Is it possible? It doesn't. It's an organic growth. It happens together. Now, I gave you such a long introduction before the two clippings I am going to show you from this video. We will watch the clippings and then I will ask you after each clipping one question. Okay? Shall I give you the question now? After the take the question before. Is pronunciation enough, or is the correctness of social correctness also desired? What we called etiquette. Okay? Look at this and see where Eliza Doolittle succeeds and where Eliza Doolittle does not succeed. Okay? Are you ready? Are we together? Everybody, please. I see some people are still sleeping. How many of you came without breakfast? Okay, great. So you have 9 o'clock class, you have time for breakfast. That's marvelous. Okay, let me. One each. One on each bench. Did you get the words of the song? Okay, I'll play it once again. Okay, and now I have given you the text. So listen to the song, and then next time I'll play it again, and I'll ask you to sing with the the singer, the playback singer here, and then maybe I will ask you to do without him, without them. This is a chorus, everybody singing together. Okay, so now listen to it with. I have given you the script. Is that okay? Shall we do that? Okay, let me rewind it. Your eyes to the text now. Look at the text and your ears to hear. Your eyes to the text and your ears to the, sorry, yeah, your ears to the music and eyes to the text. Correct? Okay? Did I get it right? Okay, lovely. Sometimes I get, where should eyes be, where should ears be? But human beings have that capacity. They can distribute their attention part-wise. Have you heard of someone who could dictate 2 letters at the same time? We'll talk about that. Right? Shall we continue? Okay, so your eyes to the text and your ears to the, now you have seen. Okay, we'll watch it once again, but maybe this time, pay attention to the text. There's some mistake of spelling here. It should be pace, P-A-C-E, not peace. I'm sorry for the mistake of spelling. Did you get that right? Okay. Right. Now, shall we sing with the video? Okay. Everybody play. Everybody. I find that, whenever I do the group thing, some people just enjoy watching the others. That's not, you are denying yourself a share of the fun if you don't join it. Overcome your inhibition, it's a group activity. That is why the culture of chorus came, the culture of kirtan in our villages came. Whether you are a Muhammad Rafi or Shirish Chaudhary, you can sing together. It really doesn't matter. Okay, shall we all do it together? Please. Can you, how do I bring it back? Let's start, bring it, let's start. Everybody together, okay? Okay, this time without the video, right? I'll say 1, 2, 3 and you'll begin. Don't worry about, but go together. Don't go faster, don't go slower, go together with your friends. Remember, it's a team effort. Don't feel shy, don't feel overconfident. Okay? I'll say 1, 2, 3 and everybody will begin. 1, 2, 3.
And Earl and Pierre is here. Everyone who should be here is here. What a smashing, positively dashing spectacle, the Ascot's opening day. At the gate are all the horses waiting for the queue to fly away. What a gripping, absolutely ripping moment at the Ascot's opening day. Pulses rushing, faces flushing, heartbeats speed up. I have never been so keyed up. Any second now, they will begin to run. Heart of the bell is ringing, they are springing forward. It has begun. What a friendly moment that was. Between the maintains and exhausting pace. That was thrilling, absolutely chilling, running of the Ascot's opening race.
Okay, get used to it. Practice it with the text, and believe me, we are learning somebody else's language, and we must learn all aspects of it: the rhythm, the pronunciation, the stress, the enunciation, as they say. Later, you may switch between this pronunciation and another, just as you switch between Telugu and English, between Hindi and Telugu, between Tamil and Telugu, between Tamil and Hindi, Similarly, you can do, but when and until you have learned it, you must try. Okay? Right. Let's go with the film. Let's watch the rest of it. It's very, I've got you a very interesting clipping. Okay? Are you all right? Yes, not tired? Okay? Please. can I give you the context? Can I give you the context? You know, you saw the drill yesterday that Professor Henry Higgins makes this flower girl Eliza Doolittle undertake, you know, undergo this course in pronunciation of English, and she is being taught upper class accent. Now that, you know, yesterday you saw in the video that she is able to say sentences like in Hartford, Hampshire, Hampstead, hurricanes hardly ever happen. Or another sentence, you know, in Spain, what is that? Mainly, you know. So all kinds of tongue twisters, all kinds of ha, 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 or kapati, you know, they have prepared her with the pronunciation, but they have not given her the social correctness. They have asked her that she could talk about these two things, health and weather, but let us see what happens. So in order to test that she has got the language of the upper class, they bring her to this horse race party, you know, and between races people drink tea according to the British culture, and they also have little conversation. Watch that.
Mother? Henry, what a disagreeable surprise. Hello, Mother. How nice you look. What are you doing here? You promised never to come to Ascot. Go home at once. I can't, Mother. I'm here on business. Oh, no, Henry, you mustn't. I'm quite serious. You'll take all my friends. The moment they meet you, I've never seen them again. So you're not even dressed for Ascot. I changed my shirt. Now, listen, Mother, I've got a job for you, a phonetics job. I picked up a girl. Henry. Oh, no, not a love affair. She's a flower girl. I'm taking her to the annual embassy ball, but I want to try her out first. I beg your pardon? Well, you know the embassy ball. Of course I know the ball, but... So I invited her to your box today. Do you understand? Common flower girl. Oh, she'll be all right. I taught her how to speak properly. She has strict instructions as to her behavior. She's to keep to two subjects, the weather and everybody's health. Fine day, and how to do, not just let herself go on things in general. Help her along, darling. You'll be quite safe. Safe? To talk about myself in the middle of a race? Well, she's got to talk about something. Where's the girl now? She's been pinned. Some of the clothes we bought didn't quite fit. I told Pickering we should have taken her with us. Ah! Mrs. Einsford here. Good afternoon, Mrs. Higgins. You know my son Henry? Oh, how do you do? I've seen you somewhere before. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't matter. You better sit down. Lady Boxington? Devil can they be? Lord Boxington. Ah! Pickering, you're just in time for tea. Thank you, Mrs. Higgins. May I introduce Miss Eliza Doolittle? My dear Miss Doolittle, how kind of you to let me come. Delighted, my dear. Lady Boxington. How do you do? How do you do? Lord Boxington. How do you do? How do you do? Mrs. Einsford Hill, Miss Doolittle. How do you do? How do you do? And Freddie Einsford Hill. How do you do? How do you do? Miss Doolittle,
Good afternoon, Professor Higgins.
The first race was very exciting, Miss Doolittle. I'm so sorry that you missed it.
Will it rain, do you think? The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. But in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
How awfully funny.
What is wrong with that young man? I bet I got it right.
Smashing.
Hasn't it suddenly turned chilly?
I do hope we won't have any unseasonable cold spells. They bring on so much influenza, and the whole of our family is susceptible to it.
My aunt died of influenza, so they said. But it's my belief they done the old woman in.
Done her in?
Yes, Lord love you. Why should she die of influenza when she come through diphtheria right enough the year before? Fairly blue with it she was. They all thought she was dead, but my father, he kept ladling gin down her throat.
Oh.
Then she come to so sudden, she bit the bowl off the spoon.
Dear me.
Now what call would a woman with that strength in her have to die of influenza? And what become of her new straw hat that should have come to me? Somebody pinched it. And what I say is, them as pinched it, done her in.
Done her in. Done her in, did you say?
Whatever does it mean?
That's the new small talk. To do somebody in means to kill them.
But you surely don't believe your aunt was killed.
Do I not? Them she lived with would have killed her for a hat pin, let alone a hat.
But it can't have been right for your father to pour spirits down her throat like that. It might have killed her.
Not her. Gin was mother's milk to her. Besides, he poured so much down his own throat, he knew the good of it.
Do you mean that he drank?
Drank, my word, something chronic. Yeah. What are you sniggering at?
It's the new small talk. You do it so awfully well.
Well, if I was doing it proper, what was you sniggering at? Have I said anything I oughtn't?
Not at all, my dear.
Well, that's a mercy anyhow.
What? I don't know whether there's enough time before the next race to place a bet, but come, my dear.
I don't suppose so.
I had a bet on number 7. I should be so happy if you would take it. You'll enjoy the race ever so much more.
That's very kind of you.
His name is Dover.
Oh my God.
Okay, what goes wrong here in the experiment that Professor Higgins and Colonel Pickering are doing? What is wrong here? Can anyone please tell me what is not right here? You know, they haven't told the girl that she comes from the absolutely lower working classes. They have not told her that certain words cannot be spoken in a civilized society. Okay, and she does make that mistake, right? Is that clear to you? Okay. Moreover, there is exaggeration of everything. Oversized hat, very peculiar kind of clothes, and everyone wearing the same kind of clothes. Shaw makes fun of the British society, that look, you look like robots. Okay, that's what he does. Now, after this, they train Eliza Doolittle further into social manners. All right, okay. Let us see how she gets along at the second and final occasion, whether she really comes through as a princess, as a member of the upper class society. Another clipping, and then we will do some drill and we will call it a day. Now they take her to a ball given by some very rich and powerful duke every year, where ambassadors and their families and British upper classes lords are invited, and there is a ball. What a ball is? It's kind of dance, gentle movement and some party, etc. Only the rich and the mighty are invited there. And because Professor Henry Higgins comes from the upper classes, his mother has an invitation, and as you heard, he talks his mother into letting him take his friend Colonel Pickering and this girl Eliza Doolittle. Now she is dressed differently. In the intervening weeks, she has also been given some tuition about social manners. Actually, in Britain and even in India, there used to be something called finishing school. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of finishing school? Finishing school was mainly for girls, okay. And after they were given school education and college education, in finishing school they were taught housekeeping. But many boys were also sent, because they were also taught social etiquette and manner, how you should sit down, how you should greet different people, etc., etc. Okay. So after Eliza Doolittle has been given all the lessons that were generally given in the finishing school, they bring her to this embassy ball. Now see how she carries herself. Now she has got pronunciation, and she has also got the social manners. Thank you. Okay. Do you have a class after this? So if I take 5 minutes longer, no problem.
given it up 2 months ago. Absolutely fantastic. A lot of tomfoolery. Higgins, I salute you. Silly people don't.
Okay, we have very few, hardly few minutes left, and we will do some drill. But you see, they are able to pass her for, at the party she is taken for what? Eliza Doolittle is taken for a princess. A princess from which country? Hungary. Okay, so they are able to do that, but they also must realize that by now she has not only acquired pronunciation, she has also acquired social manners, social etiquette and the language. Okay, it's a bit of fun, comedy, lot of music. You might watch it, you might download it from the net and watch it for free, that which is what Santosh did for me here, right? Shall we do a few minutes of drill, and then you can go back to the hostel or to your next class. Another 2 minutes, right? Okay, please pick up your book, and you can take this text away, and I expect you to be able to sing it to yourself and to your friends. All right, let's come to the drill. Some consonants only, just about a couple of minutes, and then maybe we are done with. Okay. This, I have selected out of the 24 consonants that standard British English has, I have taken only 2 or 3, as in face. Once again the lips have come close to the upper teeth, but not touch it exactly. Okay, and then say it with long vowel. Please follow me. I will say it first and you will say it next. Ready? Everybody, please. Yes? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Face.
Face.
Fact.
Fact.
Fade.
Fade.
Folder.
Folder.
Film.
Film.
Gift.
Gift.
Drift.
Drift.
Go on.
La.
Together, please.
Left. Lift. Shift. Soft. Swift. Brief. Chief. Half. Leaf. Knife. Proof. Rough. Shelf.
It's not knife, it is knife. Come again.
Proof. Rough. Shelf.
Okay. Right. Let's go to the next. Once again the same thing, but this time your vocal cords vibrate. Keep your finger here and say vague. No, the V must come very clearly. Okay. Vague. Vain.
Valve. Van. Vast. Vent. Verb. Vote. Lived. Loved. Moved. Saved.
Make it long.
Saved. Solve. Save. Have. Live. Serve. Shave. Five. Prove.
There are lots of words in English which change because of only one sound between V and W. Look at these words. Okay? If you don't pronounce it properly, your vein can be understood as wane and veil can be understood as whale. Okay? So in one case, in the case of V, your lower lip come close to the upper teeth, but in the case of W, you round your lips like you are going to whistle. Okay? Let's do it. I'll say it first and you will say it next. Vain. Wane.
Wane.
Go on.
Veil. Whale. Van. Wan. Verse. Was. Vest. West. Went. Went. Vet. Wet. Vice. Wise. Vine. Wine.
Okay, can you pick up your book and see page number 189? Okay, between pages 189 and let's say 207, you have lots of exercises, and this drill can help you acquire this sound for the rest of your life. Whenever you speak, you won't have to make an effort. It will come naturally to you. It will become part of your habit, just as you produce the other sounds now. Do this drill on your own in the hostel, and when I invite you to make your final presentation on this course on the 10th, I will also be looking for, I'll also pay attention to your pronunciation of these sounds. Okay, you will gain or lose marks or grades, depending upon how well or not so well you pronounce these sounds. Do you have any questions? Okay, then I think we will stop here today. Thank you, please.